Okay,
my
one
God.
more thing that's going to be a discussion. So I saw the tweet and it was like, someone complaining about people being elitist. Okay, this is for Yakuza. People were like saying it's like, oh, how can you say someone isn't a Yakuza fan just because they watched all the games? And it's like, how can you like say someone isn't a fan of something just because of how they decide to experience it, whatever the fuck, right? And then people were going on about it's like you aren't a fan of something if you haven't experienced it yourself and you're experiencing it through someone else or in different ways because like and it's like they were going on about like why are games the only media where you can watch it and still be called a fan? And it's like and the person said to themselves like the most I can call you is like you're interested in it. I can't call you an actual fan of it. Because for games specifically, I especially agree with that. Cause it's like with game like for an anime, I still kinda agree. But like for a game, like playing a game is completely different than one because playing a game you have a different experience. Everyone's experience is different with playing a game, especially something like Yakuza, where the story is only like a fraction of the amount of content that's actually in the game. So like especially for something like Yakuza, like if you watch Yakuza, like I'm not calling you a Yakuza fan, like you didn't actually experience Yakuza. But how do y'all feel about, especially considering we have a culprit because it's red-handed of watching things rather than actually experiencing them. So how do y'all feel about
Okay.
that argument about like if you watch it or didn't experience yourself, you're not actually a fan of it?
I'm gonna say this real quick. Now like the whole like I know what you're talking about with the certain person. Anyways,
Okay.
I think with the video games aspect, I feel like if you are actively watching somebody play it, you are interested in it. You can experience it through there because, like I say, if you're poor or like if you can't, you have circumstances that don't allow you to get a console. Like you're just gonna have to watch it. And like a fan means you're interested in something. Like you wouldn't be invested in the series and you won't be wanting to experience it if you just didn't watch it. Like come on, like that's what you have to do. Like that literally means you want to watch or be invested into it. But like anime, if you watch someone else like what like are you meaning like someone else watch it for anime or what do you mean by that one?
Okay, so for example, like Deadly watches a Samo Gaming X
Okay, but
explained
Deadly
the
never
50
claimed himself a fan of Hunter x
I
Hunter. I'll
know,
say
but it's
that.
like, but like that's just an example. Like people doing shit like that, and then like saying they're in, like they're
Okay.
a fan of like,
Okay, okay, yeah, because then like the Dragon Ball Abridged thing, that's a good point. Because
yeah, like
Dragon Ball Z
people
Abridged,
who experience Dragon Ball through a bridge. Like, can you call them a fan of
yeah,
Dragon Ball?
no, they're not. They're
Okay.
not
Yeah.
a
Okay.
fan.
No.
So for the way I would say, like, if you take the time to literally watch a full playthrough or walkthrough, like let's say fucking Kingdom Hearts 1, right? I know it's a bad example, but like,
That game
to stay
sucks.
with me now. Oh my fucking god!
Keep in
Like,
mind.
because there are some people, some people don't have access to to play certain games at certain times, but they want to see like what's so good about this, that, or the third, and just want to be there for the story. You can still be a fan of Kingdom Hearts, for example, just from watching the story online, not like an actual summary. If you take the time to see everything that transpires, I would call you a fan instead of just being interested. Now, if you only consume it by a summary of some random nigga just telling you, then I'm saying you would be interested because you're not getting the full grasp of what you're
See
watching.
this is why I don't agree with this, especially on the games portion, because a video game is a lot more than just a story, and this is why I say you're still. And if you watch us, okay, so like you were saying, if you watch the story of Kingdom Hearts 1, like you're just watching the story, a story. A story is like only a fraction of a video game. Like that's why I still call your only interest, because a video game you aren't experiencing the gameplay, how the game feels, how the game plays, and what the game also has to offer through side content and other means. That's why for like a game specifically, I can't call someone a fan of a game just by just watching it, because there's so much more to a
Okay.
video game than just the story.
Okay.
No. Okay. That's true, but at the same time, like, okay, well, I'm gonna use
I don't know,
myself
'cause, like,
as an example.
Yeah, bro.
So, okay,
My fault.
you could be a
so
fan.
I would. I'll let you, but I would consider myself a fan of Persona 4. Now,
Oh, brother. Oh,
no,
bro.
let me
I forgot
finish.
about
Let me
this.
finish. Let me
I
finish. Let me
forgot
finish,
about
nigga. Let me
this.
finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, no, keep in
Damn,
mind.
bro.
Keep in mind about that.
Now keep in mind. Now keep in mind.
Keep in mind that nigga played 10 minutes. Keep in
Look,
mind.
bro. Look. Okay, no, it was more than 10 minutes. Actually, I finished the first
Hey,
dungeon.
that was me,
Anyways,
bro.
but yeah, back when after I finished Persona 5, I was looking into the other Persona games. This was right before Persona 4, the Persona 4 port got announced or remaster. So I was just unlucky with that. But it was before Persona 4 remaster. I didn't have access. I didn't have access to PS Vita, and P, can I fucking speak? P4G wasn't on emulators at the time, if I remember correctly, or there was some shit with it where you couldn't emulate it, right? So I pretty much had no
Fuck!
options at the time to
Sorry.
play Persona 4 Golden. Or nigga, are you okay?
I lost a grab clash. My bad. Go on.
Okay. But yeah, I had no options to play Persona 4 Golden. So instead, I watched a full playthrough, like full cutscenes, video, the full like fucking 20-hour video
Bro.
showing everything that happens in the game. And since then, I can tell you everything that happens in P4. I can tell you like most if not all the gameplay mechanics, how the game works, the bosses, enemies, all that shit. So like I feel like I know enough about the game for it to be past I'm interested in it,
Yeah.
and more of like I'm a fan of it. Now I will say I haven't played the game, and that's less because I don't like that's less because I don't like it, and more because Persona is a story-based game, and the combat is good, but especially in Persona 4, not good enough for me to sit there and replay the entire game when I pretty much know everything that's going to happen, beat for beat, word for word.
See, that's why I don't really agree, because like you know the story, right? And like, but for you, it's a bit different because like I was more so speaking of people that don't play the game at all. Like you still played parts of Persona 4, so like it still doesn't necessarily apply to you. But like, just like not, I feel like I was saying, like just not playing the actual game, you're missing out on a lot more than just like. I feel like just knowing the story isn't enough. I was going somewhere,
Like
but I completely
social
lost my.
links and shit.
I completely lost my.
Well, no, not
Train of
no
thought.
social link because you're still gonna experience that.
I mean, yeah,
But
if you watch like 100% playthrough a person does all the social links, like you'll still experience that. But like a lot. Okay, for Persona example, a lot of the aspect and appeal of Persona comes with the time management. Like if you're just watching someone do the playthrough, you're not worrying about how like should I hang out with this person this day? Should I do this on this day? Like in Persona, like especially because that's such a personalized game. It's like it's literally like like you just aren't like actually experiencing the game. Like you know the story of the game, but it's like, are you actually like getting the Persona experience? Like
Now,
watching
See, I
someone play.
understand
okay.
that because it's basically like living life through someone else's eyes instead of living your own life.
Well, okay, but
Kind of.
yeah, I know what you mean though, Kelko. It's just like with video games and anime, like I said with the Dragon Ball Z abridged thing. If you experience Dragon Ball like through in a bridge, which a bridge means shortened or like for like easily consumable, then like yeah,
Oh
like
fuck.
you can't really like do it like that because you don't know jack shit about the series either way because they cut out a shit ton of context. For a video game, they literally have things called walkthroughs and playthroughs, which literally means they walk you through the game that they're playing. So it's kind of like you're watching and you're gaining the experience from the controls and from the games. I mean, if nowadays it's games with more narrative driven, so like it's gonna be half gameplay and half narrative. So like you're still experiencing the game. You're just experiencing like I mean,
No, you're
most games
experience.
like
You're
that.
okay. Watching someone play a game, you're not experiencing a game watching someone like besides the story, like the gameplay. Like you aren't getting a taste of how the game actually plays until you actually play the video game. Like again to my Persona example, like your playthrough for a Persona game would not be the exact same as the person that you watch. Like I keep using Persona specifically because that's such like
Like if, I mean, if I
that's a
were to
good
use
example
it,
because that's a game a lot of people like just watch and don't play. But like Persona, like I was saying, Persona is such a personalized experience of a game where it's like I feel like you can't just watch Persona and say you experience Persona. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know, because like I said, like I mean, okay, like so I'm saying this like this is what you're saying. Like for example, you're guessing like NBA for example. Like you can
2K?
watch the NBA, but you're not like watching, like you're not getting the basketball experience yourself, right?
Yeah,
Like pretty much
like
like
I
that.
can't say that I play basketball because I watch NBA. Like I watch NBA games. Like I can't say that because I'm not playing basketball.
Or would you say like you know about basketball because you watch it, right?
Yeah, like I could say
But
yeah,
you can call yourself a basketball fan because you watch it, right?
yeah, but I feel like
Okay, that's
basketball
a
is
little
completely different than I feel like using shit like sports is like different.
yeah, because for a lot of people, like regardless of what they do, watching it is the only way, like only avenue of being a fan of that. You can't like you're not gonna go get up and join the NBA
Yeah,
or some shit.
like I feel like
I mean,
compare to
like
video
play basketball. Like I mean, but
Yeah.
like the point is, like what I meant, like is like from what Isaiah is saying, like I was trying to make it like you have to play the game yourself to actually fully experience. What
yeah,
I'm
like
getting,
if you
right?
want to
Yeah.
actually experience basketball, I feel like yeah, you should like you can't like playing the game itself, like just watching basketball. Like you can still be
Like
like
yeah, like
for
you can watch
basketball
but you gotta pick
it's
up the ball yourself
for
to be a
basketball
basketball fan.
it's different. It's like you can be a basketball fan and not actually play basketball, but like I think what you're trying to say is like
Like you need to pick up that basketball in order to consider yourself a fan. That's
no,
what
I feel like
that's
but
what
I'm
I'm
saying
getting.
you can consider yourself a basketball fan watching basketball because it's different than an anime or a video game. But what was I trying? You're trying to
Yeah.
say like
I mean, okay, so then I'll just
being
say
the
this.
actual player. I feel like that's what you're trying to say. I don't know.
No, I meant like picking up a basketball because, like you said, we're saying like unless you pick up that controller, you're not really experiencing like the game. Instead of like watching it, it's like you're only experiencing like half of the game. So unless you like pick up the whole controller and play the game yourself, you're not experiencing it instead of watching someone play it.
I guess yeah.
But,
I mean, because my thing is like if I'm talking to someone and who's really invested into the game, and like on one hand they haven't played it before, but on the other hand they're giving me like a full lore breakdown of shit the average player doesn't even know and just going on and on and on about it, I think I would consider them a fan in my head. I think it's just like because it's one thing if like someone watches a playthrough and does not want to play the game
yeah.
versus someone who
Wants to play the game but can't.
yeah it I think there's just levels too. I think
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if you want to go by the like definition of a fan, it's just someone who has a strong interest in something. Then you could just say like, yeah, I'm a fan because I have a strong interest while watching it. Because I wouldn't be watching if I wasn't interested in it. But if you want to go by saying like, unless you pick up a controller and the experience it yourself, then you're not considered a fan. I'm guessing it's just based off of perspective. But I would
But I
say
feel
you're a fan.
I feel like being a fan of a game, like gameplay, and being a fan of a story, like, because, like, for example, like Genshin
Oh
Impact,
brother.
so many niggas
Example.
do not care about that fucking story, but niggas will stay like
It's me. I'm niggas.
deadly. And I say, all of us have played Genshin at one point because we can't basically fuck with the gameplay of the characters. I guarantee you, none of you niggas actually cared about the story unless you saw a nigga you knew
I'm pretty sure
actually
Dudley
fighting.
watches this.
I actually kind of like the story a little bit. Not quite well.
Yeah, you're weird.
The Genshin story is
How do you
fucking-
have a point and you insult him for
the
it?
Genshin story is kind of
That's
whack.
funny as hell. That's funny as hell.
Like
But you need like
Because okay, I'll say it goes the opposite way as well. Because I've seen niggas write like what you think would be full fucking like theses on the Genshin story, and you go through their like page or whatever, and them niggas have not touched the game since like 2022.
Yeah. Okay, so that's an example.
Right.
Can you consider someone like that? That's okay. Can you consider someone that's like only watched Genshin Impact all cutscenes but never actually played Genshin Impact? Can you consider them a fan? Because there's a lot more of
I would
Genshin
consider
but
them
besides the
more
story.
of a fan than the person that's only there.
I feel
for
like
the
I
gameplay.
feel like for that person, I would say they're interested in the story. They're not interested in Genshin Impact itself. You know what I'm saying? Because like with Genshin Impact, there's a lot more to the game besides the story.
Yeah, is there? But I feel like is there really like a difference, or not a difference, but like does it? because with a game like Genshin, for example, where
You're
the
missing
flaws
on the
there
gotcha
are,
pack. Yeah.
yeah, a game like Genshin, for example, where the flaws are a lot more apparent, and there's like very obvious reasons to why someone wouldn't want to play the game, but if they still enjoy the story regardless, I still think I could consider them a fan.
Yeah, because they're missing out on the gotcha aspect, and like, I mean,
Not
on
even
the other
just
stuff,
that.
like, I mean, if you
They're
meaning like
developing
that,
a gambling addiction.
I was about to say like the story of the Gen. I mean, I can call them a Genshin fan because they know the lore and stuff, but like because they're missing out on the gameplay or the Genshin gotcha aspect. Fuck, they're not really a fan. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I feel like I would say.
Yeah, okay, I just thought of an example. Okay, because I think it's a case by case thing. Because like on one hand, like with Genshin, if someone who knew a lot about the story but didn't play the game, I would consider them a fan, to be honest.
Is this gonna be?
But like for example,
fuck! Shut up! Hold on.
Okay.
I gotta win this. I gotta win this. I gotta win this. I gotta win this. Come on. I lost. Okay.
I told
Right.
you. But go on to
Yeah.
Did so much help.
So for example, some like Until Dawn, for example,
Oh wait, not too
Yeah.
much, boy, because I'm actually funny. We say this.
Okay.
I'm watching a Berlisi playthrough right now, and it's.
I won't spoil it.
Yeah,
But
come on.
like, so I haven't played until I love Until Dawn. I have not played that shit. I don't do horror games. I'm a pussy. So I was there during the original Berlisi playthrough and other playthroughs because that nigga, well, you know. But yeah, I would, and because of that, I wouldn't consider myself a fan. Like,
Of Until Dawn.
I wouldn't consider myself a fan of
But
Until
you're
Dawn,
interested.
but I am very interested in the game.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
I think
myself.
overall it's just a case by case basis depending on like how the media is in general and how deep you're willing to go, like even if you don't play the game. It's just like different per game, per media.
Yeah, I've watched the Telltale games, watched playthroughs. I like the Telltale games. I'm interested in them. Would I actually ever play them myself? I don't know. That's why I don't call myself a fan of the Telltale games. Like the Walking Dead ones, like I've watched, I think like every fucking season.
Yeah.
But I never like actually talk about it or like call myself a fan because I've only watched them. But is that everything we had to say about this one?
So
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much. So I'm guessing like it just
Well,
matters.
speaking of finding out how much of a